Hello, folks, and welcome to the Friend or Foe Lounge. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, Sharogen, and I have some pretty interesting guests who are joining us today. As always, we've got Utility Monster from Universal Basic Income who is joining us. Go ahead and say hello.
Nice to be here.
Yeah. A lot of enthusiasm, man. Man, I feel awesome like that.
Yeah.
And then we've also got from Serenity Senate, FrozenIncursion and Tiki. Guys, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm just chilling on a Saturday, you know, playing some League of Legends, and yeah, just get some some Risk of Rain recently. You know, not sure if you guys ever heard of that game, but it's pretty good.
Okay. You know, it's like I know that Risk of Rain is definitely because it's one of those survival games. There's a definitely competitive edge to it, so maybe we'll maybe we'll do an FoF Risk of Rain stream at some point.
Yo,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's something exciting there.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's just kind of, you know what, Frozen and Tiki, like one of you go ahead and take it first. Just kind of introduce yourselves, because I know you guys, Serenity Senate's kind of like one of the newer teams to the league, and I know you guys just recently found out about Friend or Foe as of basically the beginning of this season. So just kind of give me your take on your experience so far.
Wait, who's going first? Well, you're the one who like dragged me into this.
All right.
Take it better for you.
My name's Tiki, and like I play mid for Serenity Senate.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's one of those things where Friend or Foe is kind of, it's a unique experience, wouldn't you say, Josh? Where it's not the same as just a random one-off Clash tournament.
Yeah, the fact that you get to scout people for so long in advance, and you get to see other games they play, so you get to sort of a familiarity with all the other teams, and sort of develop an internal meta and an internal sort of, you know, scouting profile for everyone. It's really strategically more deep, I think, than your typical Clash tournament or whatever.
And I was just gonna say, on top of it, Frozen, go ahead and give us a little brief kind of intro to who you are.
Yo, so my name's FrozenIncursion. I play jungle for Serenity Senate. I found FoF from Tiki since one day he just like DM'd me and it was like, yo, I kind of got invited by joining FoF from Riri. I think he found us on Pearlfest or something. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how he found us, but yeah. So like they said they also were looking for a starter jungle. I mean, at the time I was just trying to learn top lane, you know, just trying to learn like basic roles. And jungle, it was like my third role at the time, since like I only played jungle just so that I can play in case I got autofilled in solo queue. But yeah, then I just
let's just go ahead and hop like right into this. So the first game, like we're just gonna be going over the Luna games that we had last week. First team that we had up on the chopping block, so to speak, is Team H Block versus Team Asorth. So just kind of let's, like, this particular game, I think Utility Monster, we've talked about this, where your H Block is one of the stronger teams in the league. Taz used to be like, they were like our season 1 champions. Like they were really strong then, and it had a lot to do, I think, because of the nature of the way Friend or Foe was structured at the time. The hard engage just shocked people so much, and so it really allowed people to pop off.
Were they season 1 champions? I thought they were season 2 runner-up.
Season 2 runner-up.
I thought season 1 champions was Atlas, yeah?
It was Atlas and season 1. Yes, Atlas season 1, season 2 runner-up. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They're champions in my eyes, so
yeah.
I love them to death because they're a bunch of really cool guys. They're all
I wasn't around back then. I just know because there's a graphic for Atlas in the background of the loading screen.
Yep.
Is Atlas still around or no?
In spirit, not in name. So like Burst Limit and all of them, I believe, are the original cast of Team Atlas. No, Team Atlas was Found in his squad. So unfortunately, not anymore. They've kind of scattered to the wind. But yeah, so just kind of like right off the bat with the way that this comp was drafted, you can see that Team Asorth was picking up like their traditional comp. Like they like to go for that hard engage, the Kayn, the Yasuo. And then I think H Block did a really good job just kind of anticipating that and basically shutting it down before it ever had a chance to come off.
Yeah, Taz, their support plays a lot of engage mostly whenever I'm watching. A lot of Nautilus too. Yeah, their body's strong. Yeah, on Taz.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who ended up getting first blood in this one. So yeah, it's like I do remember that Shadows 21, he was a substitute for Taz in this case. Did a pretty good job. He seems like he's a pretty good replacement whenever Onbo's not available. But he definitely like, there's not a lot to say about this game, unfortunately. I feel like HBK just kind of had it in the bag. Let's see here.
I like the LeBlanc pick.
The LeBlanc
makes it fun.
pick was really good, and this is actually, I think it caused a lot of PTSD for Hismi, because they ended up banning LeBlanc in the next game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
H-Block is, yeah, he's very good at LeBlanc and Zed. Those are his two big assassin picks.
Oh, I saw the Zed while I was looking on the profile. He does play a lot of Zed.
I like the Galio flash time. That was really good.
How it went.
I mean, I think H-Block is especially good at beating teams that they're better than. I mean, you look at their games, the games where they're sort of evenly matched, they don't always look great, which you'd expect, obviously, if against stronger teams, but they look really, really strong against teams where they get advantages, and they just absolutely take over the game, and, you know, it looks incredibly one-sided, which is, you know, definitely a good skill to have to, you know, be consistent like that.
It's one of those things like in the meta where, like, I think, I don't know, well, especially for this season, I'm kind of feeling like the Riot's trying to make the games a lot shorter. So if you win the laning phase, you're gonna most likely like propel that lead forward and just carry on.
But the fact that they know exactly what to do when they get ahead is, I think, really impressive.
Yeah, no,
that's true.
The knowing what to do with your lead is what's B-try.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really weird interaction, the Cataclysm.
That
was so strange. Wait.
So
he's in the wall.
I'm not sure
already.
if Jarvan can jump over. I mean, can he jump over walls with his ult?
He can, but only very
walls?
small walls.
I think that one's too thick for him, right?
Yeah, that one's too thick.
Yeah, it's just
And
it's
so
too
Kane
much
just
for
keeps
him.
going through the wall because he has the wall.
Had he already used EQ?
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see.
Unlucky.
Yeah, that is unlucky.
and he already has the wall run through ability here, so he just runs through the Jarvan Cataclysm still. It's really funny.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like I have to double check the range of the Cataclysm. I think if Idris had waited a second or two, he might have actually been able to trap both of them inside of the wall, and they would have been stuck there. Now, if I remember correctly, so the Shadow Walk, it used to basically kick Kane out anytime he took damage, right?
Yeah, I think I remember.
It doesn't kick you out if you take damage, but if you're in combat, it lasts much less long.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no,
So you can still use it in combat to go through like a single wall, but it doesn't last for 4 or 5 seconds like it does out of combat.
right.
It's basically so he can't just fly away anytime he wants out of fight. Well, he still kind of can, but like it helps him not being able to do that as much.
Especially if he's Shadow Assassin, he's just gonna run away. Just
Yeah.
Super hard to kill.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really
That's so unlucky, actually.
Yeah, he gets away right there. So, oh man, it's like I really like the LeBlanc was such a great pick into the Yasuo in this instance because she's able to jump around the wind wall. So it's like, yeah, you can dodge the initial chain, but she's just going to use a clone to kind of leap over to the side and try and hit you from the side and burst you down there.
It's going to be really hard for him to hit the tornado as well for dashing around everywhere.
Yep, which
especially if LeBlanc's low, she got the clone too.
Yep, and there you go. That's I think Gua started to do pretty well in this. Like you said, she picked up a couple of kills there.
Jeff is always very upset whenever he sees Gua score lines because his team gets absolutely dominated, but Gua gets every single kill, so he stays above Jeff in the kill rankings.
And now that, yeah, so we can talk about this here in a little bit, but unfortunately, Jeff's not going to be joining us for a little bit. Gonna have to take a little bit of a leave of absence due to a personal injury. So that really sucks, and that just means that the KDA gap is going to get even wider. So
That's true. It'll be really hard for anyone to catch his 12 KDA though. So he can take solace in that.
Yes, the overall KDA he will definitely be ruling for quite some time.
But yeah, no, this game is just H-Block gets ahead, and they give up a few kills here and there, but for the most part, it's a very smooth finish.
Yeah, it was,
you can just tell. You can just tell H-Block uses their lead really well to get ahead in the game.
Yeah, no, it's like you were mentioning before about knowing what to do when you're ahead. I think Team Girl is actually a good example of this, where they can win the early game. They can do pretty well like early on, but then once they've got that lead, they just tend to flounder and not exactly know necessarily what to do with it when you're looking at the match.
Yeah.
And it can make teams look, I think, better than they are against weaker teams. Like, I think that H Block is a very good team, but I don't like, if you look at just their games against, you know, Taz and Fraud Squad, and those sort of lower ranked teams at the moment, you would think that they might be the best team in the league just because the advantages that they get are enormous. But a lot of that's just part of their ability is to keep getting more ahead when they get ahead a little bit. And so it doesn't always translate to their games against the top ranked teams. Although this week they also did beat Church of Alfonso, so well played for them.
Yes, they did. Yeah, so that was actually like really, really impressive in all honesty. So I'm excited to eventually get Church of Alfonso on here and we can talk about some of their games and stuff. All right.
I can't wait to flame Beshiwap.
Flame Beshiwap. Poor Beshiwap. He's such a good support, yet at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, so this is actually a good one. So we've got you, Tiki, in this one. Frozen, you weren't in this.
Filthy Casual, yeah.
Yeah, Filthy Casual is, I think, taking over for you. So just kind of give me a walkthrough of what you guys were planning going into this match.
So we were, let's see, we had, this is Jack Scott King's, what's this? I'm pretty sure this is his first game.
His first game, yeah, first tourney game, yeah.
So, we were trying to look for maybe him playing like a defensive champ, because like usually like he's just starting to get back in, so he's not gonna want to play anything crazy, right? Because he's just trying to like see what the team's like and like see how we are and stuff. Yeah. But we just went crazy and went for the KL pick top lane. And it worked too. Like Jax is just better. Like he just played it really well. And he got that early TP, actually. That was a crazy fight.
Yeah.
It was early TP. Also, I just want to say, Casual, he played really well this game.
Yeah, Casual's goated, dude. He's actually
he carried pretty hard.
Especially on the Langshark, too. Like, his Langshark.
He had a lot of good games.
Yeah, like Rek'Sai is not the most common pickup we see in the jungler. I'm trying to think of who else has pulled it out in the series, and I'm not thinking of anyone off the top of my head. Utility, do you have anything that pops into your head on that one?
I don't remember any other Rek'Sai games in Friend or Foe, no.
I think
I know that it's I know Casual plays it a lot in solo queue.
Yeah, I know that Rek'Sai was a really popular pick of an older team who's not in the league right now, and it's definitely kind of one of those champs that like you just don't see often. I've noticed. Like it seems like I don't know like why the play rate is so low despite how strong it can be.
Yeah, I think Casual actually said something about this when we were talking about the Rek'Sai pick. I'm pretty sure he says underrated. If he didn't, it still is, because I think Rek'Sai is a really great champion because it just set up free ganks pretty much. If you're good enough to set up ganks on Rek'Sai, she's gonna be really strong. Just because of her tunnel and stuff.
It's really unforgiving because it falls off as the game goes on. So you have to really know what you're doing and take advantage of your early strength in a very short window.
Exactly.
And then it also has just enough little unique mechanics that make it hard to do that. So, you know, the lack of vision when you're burrowed, the way that you're managing your Fury is a little bit unique. So there's just enough little tiny things like that that make it hard to get the advantage you need to get, or else you'll fall off. So it's really, you know, very strong in experienced Rek'Sai players' hands, but it's not something I'm planning on picking up anytime soon.
We can't see the screen, by the way, or is that just me?
Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I was fiddling with a setting.
I picked Ori here because Ori's a pretty good matchup in the Nico, because she has a lot of movement speed and she has very good range as well. And the ult helps out for team fights. So
what are your comms like whenever you guys are going into these things, like especially like the early 5-man fans and that kind of thing, like before you start getting into these fights? Let's see if we can like what's your like setups and stuff like in callouts?
It's just like Casual's usually setting up for a gank. He's like you can ult here, or like which I do, and I ult, and then he can die for it because of that, because she's so low. He just ults her and she's basically dead. So that's one of the comms. Just Casual setting up for dives and telling me when the ult and stuff.
Yeah.
Casual's a really good player.
Yeah, because you guys being such a relatively young team, like just kind of like really kind of getting into this, that's definitely one of those skills that takes time to develop. So that's something that just takes time. Like you obviously takes time working on. I'm sure you could probably get some. You got any tips over there, Utility Monster, for like maintaining comms during hectic team fights?
One thing that we done to practice it is actually you do like just normal games, ranked games, or some kind of scrim with only one player speaking, and that can really help, especially your quieter players, to sort of get a sense for what information they need to give. And you'll usually lose those games because you're not speaking, but that's not the point. So we've definitely done that before. Call it the shot caller game, because one person gets to be the dedicated shot caller and everyone else has to shut up.
Yeah. About that, that was one of the problems I struggled with, was just not calling out cooldowns. But we played a few ranked games or flex ranked games together, and I got the hang of it, and I started calling them out more. So I think my comms are much better now once I've started to call out where the laners are and stuff, and the cooldowns like TF ult.
Most early games are pretty jungle comm focused, because that's the player who sees the most and is doing the most proactive playmaking. But then later on in the game, it really depends on the team. Some teams are very front to back team fight focused, and you'll see 80 carries and mid laners having a bigger role in can I do damage here, can we take this fight? And some teams are more split push focused, then it's more on your side laners. So it really depends on the champion picks and the team play style, exactly what your communication looks like. There's not really a single blueprint for this is how you should do it. But in general, the more information that everyone's giving, the better.
Yeah, I think Serenity kind of works like a hive mind. I think Sweezy already said this, like when you interviewed him. I think it was during the first game. I think we still carry over the same type of cons where he said it, where we're kind of like a hive mind. Like we all give each other information, and then mostly it's a jungler. They take what each of the players are saying, and then they make their own judgment. For example, I don't think we really had a really designated shot caller. We've always been just like a hive mind kind of thing.
I think we are getting better at it, because we do have Jax now. Jax God King, he's came back. He's a really good leader actually. He's been able to get us more organized, because I feel like that's what we lack, is the organization and just playing together in general. But we've gotten much better on it, and I think we'll be playing a lot more now.
And just for longer time FOF viewers, Jax God King is King Gator from Team Sword last season.
Yes, who is a very powerful top laner. That was a lot of fun watching him do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is for Puizy. I think Puizy did really well for not really playing AD. He's usually a top player. Or that's what he's been playing, and then he gave up his role for Jax to play so he can play AD. I think that was really good of him, and he played really well this game. I don't think he died once actually this game. I could be wrong. I might be thinking of someone else.
It's ADC in 2021, and you get one shot by every single thing. I don't know.
We did have a lot of lead though, so it was kind of hard for him to die, especially with the Soraka as well. So he played it well.
Yeah, he did just missing that jump right there.
This is a little awkward, but it's fine. It's fine.
Sometimes it's tricky just judging the distances on some of those abilities.
Of course. It is. The Alawi pick was, I did not expect it actually.
Yeah.
I think Cal was fine into it, because Jax, he did a good job of just try not to die or don't end. He's playing it safe, but he did go for that crazy TP play bot, and it worked too, which is crazy.
They put a timer on the game where basically once Kale hits that certain point, there's literally almost nothing you can do to stop them. So what just kind of describe how this was happening during the game. What was it you were hearing in there, Tiki?
So I'm I know there's gonna go something on bot lane here, because Drummond's gonna be coming down here, and Casual wanted to set up something because he's just chilling and waiting here. So I'm actually pushing in the wave to walk down, because I know Nico still has TP, and then it's not looking too good for us. And then I get the shockwave in, which brings me back to Nico, and then we just go back in here and go crazy because we have Kale now. This is really good.
Yeah, you guys set
I took
this
way
up
too
really
many
well.
kills this fight.
Shockwave was really good. I think you deserve that. I mean, you really pulled the entire team together, and you just rallied them all up and just lined them all up.
But this fight was just played well.
And then Jax lived too. Yeah, Jax
from everyone, this fight was played well.
Yeah.
I think everyone played it well.
What was YUBI thinking when they saw that?
We thought it was a pretty expensive TP. Like it worked out, but it was definitely high variance. I mean, you see all the plates that Alawi's getting up there. So if there's definitely a world where that works out a little bit less well, and suddenly Alawi's just gonna have a lot of fun for the next 10 minutes. So
We were talking about that, how she was getting top plates there, but it worked out for us. So
it did. You guys turned it into an Infernal Drake, which was a really nice pickup early on, just getting some of that extra damage.
yeah.
So it is. That's always one of those interesting things where it's like you go, oh, that play was so awesome, and then when you go back and analyze, you're like, oh, but maybe there was some other stuff we should have been thinking about.
That could have been it. That could have been it. Like, you just gotta, I don't know.
Yeah, because if Kale like died or if she got stopped somehow, which I don't think Alawi has any CC, right? Or does she?
They have a slow, but they don't have any hard CC.
Yeah.
And it's like the slow is actually contingent on hitting an ability and it lasting beyond a certain point.
I do like how Jax TP'd actually for that fight. I think it shows how confident he is, because like he could have just stayed top and kept farming and like maybe just said the fight was doomed. But then he I don't know if it was when I shockwaved or maybe he started the TP before. I wasn't paying attention earlier, but definitely shows how confident he is in trying to get those kills, because this was a pretty crazy TP from the Cal.
Yeah,
but it worked out.
I do want to say Ollie it's Ollie, right? They had a really good placement of the silence on Soraka on that.
Yeah,
that ward.
it was like 0.1 second off from the silence for the root, but he did give it a shot, and he's pretty good.
It was good thought process, good attempt on that, and yeah, you can see Kale was hit by I'm trying to remember what the name of that Alawi is, where she creates the ghost clone, and so by TPing out, they actually activated it.
It just amazes me how he lives this too.
Yeah. Well,
oh my gosh.
He is called the king for a reason, so.
Yeah.
I think he lived with.
And then the next game we had that day was our BBZ versus skill based. So utility
this
monster.
one was not very close.
Nah, it was not. I think honestly, just looking at the draft here, again, we've got that Amumu that just keeps showing up, and I think they're really strong right now.
Yeah, Amumu with the double bandage toss, bro. Like, I don't know, it's just too crazy, dude.
I think I like to think that we started the trend. We were the first ones to pick the Amumu support, but I'm sure everyone else would have figured it out eventually.
Yeah. When did you guys picked it up after the back at last season, didn't you?
The Amumu support? No.
Yeah, you didn't play it last season? I could have sworn you played it last season as well.
We played it the first game after they changed it.
Nope.
I see.
You didn't get the first level 1 kill though.
Ryan gets a lot of those.
Ryan gets a lot of those?
Yeah. For some reason, everyone tries to fight Brian level 1, and then he always kills them. And I don't understand why, because I'm just clearing my jungle, and then I just hear a kill announcement, and I have tab at the bottom lane, and I have no idea what happened.
It's just dead bodies.
Very scary. Level 1s and 2. I think he does start to slow down on level 3 and 4, though. I could be wrong, but I think he's probably the best at 1 and 2.
I mean, eventually he does scale pretty well, just because having a Amumu on your team scales well, but the character loses agency a little bit. That's true.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite have the ratios it needs to be super viable.
I don't think it scales poorly. I think it scales really well, but it scales with your team decision making and no longer scales with the individual playmaking as quite
I
as
see what
much.
you're saying. Yeah.
There's never a late game team fight where having this ginormous AoE stun is a bad thing. So
absolutely not.
It scales incredibly well in that sense, but it's no longer I hit my Q, I can instantly fight anyone in the game like it is level 2 in bot lane. It's also nice that the Amumu can go jungle as well, so it makes it sort of hard counter in support if there was something that you sort of theory crafted.
So this is the reason why Leona is so dangerous. So just the amount of damage they're able to put out plus a headshot. So you have the passive proc. That's where a lot of
Orphic messes up his black shield here. He doesn't black shield during his E, so he black shields early and then he doesn't have it and then he's just dead.
Yeah, because that's the main thing that makes him makes Morgana good against Leona is the spell shield, but he kind of messed it up.
Yeah, as soon as he uses it there, then it instantly goes in on the person that's not black shielded, and it's
very punishable.
It's basically a green light for Leona to engage on a particular target.
Yeah.
Pretty much guaranteed a kill there if she's going to use a spell shield like that. messing it up because
Not only that, but she also
Just
used her
unlucky.
Q too.
yeah.
Yeah, she has no route to back herself out.
Mm-hmm.
And then a nice solo kill from the Aurelia.
Yeah.
Pretty,
So Roy Shaw, I kind of want to talk about them a little bit. So I don't know if you've been paying too much to their gameplay. They're really aggressive and seem like they're limit testing at every point in time. I feel like it's a little bit much in some cases, though.
It's hard because limit testing at some level implies that you're not sure what will happen and you think it's plausible that something good would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a very good practice mechanism and all that, but I think it's hard to say that it's limit testing if you're just getting individually outclassed in lane.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I don't want to be like super critical because this is a mixed rank tournament, so there are some players are just better in lane. Like it's not that's just the nature of the tournament. So it's not like it's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I think-
unexpected in some sense. Like it would be weird if they were able to win half the time. Like that would also be weird. So I don't know. I don't think it's that unusual just given the individual rank. Jaffe is just a very strong top laner, and I think he looks a lot better against weaker opposition, like his next game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Jaffe's a really good player.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
and like just talking about split decision making, I think this is actually a good example of it right here. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Just watching this Leona in the bot lane and the Morgana and how they play this out. The Morgana does a lot better, or Orphic does really well with his black shield. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this. Skip it ahead just a little bit. So like as we can see, like the black shield's gonna come out after the E is thrown, which is really well done, and the Q comes out. So that's another neat interaction with the Leona E. If the Leona E hits, they're going in no matter what. But it's right here where Orphic gets taunted back in, and Zishan just misses that trap.
That's so unlucky. I thought that would actually go off, but
yeah, and you
that's
see
unlucky.
Orphic doing the flash instead of trying to move and accidentally clicking onto the trap. That's some really good micro right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the trap is a little bit too high, right? It's like the weird 2.5D perspective where you have to trap their feet and not their body.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like just behind the hitbox, it looks like.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But that's just like,
that's a...
you were talking about split decision making. I think like some people would try to move away rather than flash away. They wouldn't necessarily notice the trap.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember actually being reasonably impressed with SKL's sort of super early game here, but then as soon as the first fight happens, I think they'd lose it convincingly, and then they're just down too much gold.
One thing that I like is the Kog'Maw mid pick from Red. I think Kog'Maw mid is like really good right now. I might actually try to learn it because I know a lot of mid laners, especially in high elo in Korea, have been just spamming it like Showmaker. I know he's been playing it a lot because it's really good into like a lot of long range mages like Orianna, Xerath, champions, like mages that are really long range. It's not very good in assassins, but mages are really good.
Yeah, it's definitely weak early. Needs to scale up, but later in the game, it's
you do so much damage though.
very
with AP
threatening.
power.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage, and it's from very far away, so you don't really have counterplay.
Yeah.
And I think you're actually touching on something that's really interesting because it's only, I think, within like this last 2 weeks worth of games that I think we've started to see assassins coming back and actually starting to make a presence. Like we saw Zed for the first time. We've always kind of had the Yasuo and the Yone coming out, but I really don't feel like, I feel like there's particular players that play that champion. And it's really interesting because everyone's playing mages and Kog'Maw does really well into those long range mages. So like I think it is definitely a viable pick that should probably be looked at.
Q here.
Part of it as well is that assassins scale worse with the more communication your team has.
Dude, how does that hit?
That's the 2.5D again.
Oh man.
If you were to look at the perspective and like move it back closer to the Caitlyn, it would be hitting
Yeah, like,
pretty dead
I know,
on.
like if you're in the river, like the like hitbox will like not the hitbox, but like
It clipped the edge of a hitbox and then snaps to the main body for the animation, so it looks a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, what was it you were saying?
I was saying that the assassins just scale worse with team communication because you can say like, oh, this person is going to roam and kill you, or oh, this person is on me. Let's instantly use all their CC as soon as they use their gap close.
Akshan's not in
so-
lane. He's probably coming to your lane.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Zed just ulted me, so you can see the spot in the ground where he's going to be. Just walk up and use your CC instantly. Like, there's a lot of little things like that you can do. And so you see LeBlanc, because I think LeBlanc is sort of the most tricky and can work around that. And we've been seeing LeBlanc in FoF for a while, but other assassins I think are just hard to play in a coordinated environment in general, unless you're very good at them. So it makes sense that you would see more mages relative to your solo queue games.
It should be an easy tower. Or no, never mind.
I think Jumpy could have
the
queued
tower.
back in if he had mana. I think he lacked mana. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah,
It's
he's
still
gonna
kind
be
of
missing
risky.
his.
He's very low here in the
Yeah,
mid
like
wave
one
as well.
sliver of mana. Yeah.
Yeah. Just it's that tower shot's gonna be what takes him out during that.
Yeah, in the mini waves. So yeah, I can't do much.
Let's see. So yeah, I think this is the team fight you were talking about, like right around here. This is really where BBZ started to pull ahead.
Yeah.
So it was like
You get this kill before the gank can go off,
Mm-hmm.
and they sort of win everywhere in the map from here.
Oh yeah, this was in the BBZ versus Yumi video.
Yes,
Is
this play does show up whenever they're highlighting BBZ.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've got to
that was
give
really
BBZ
good for more-
something to make them look good at going up against you guys.
Yeah, true.
I felt bad, you know. I had some great trash talk for Red, and he was so respectful.
He's
And
like,
they cut all
oh,
the things out of the video that I said that were nice.
maybe they wanted
for the
to
content,
give a
it's for the content.
specific narrative then.
Yeah,
huh?
it's for the content. Exactly.
Utility monster is the monster.
Yeah. Lives up to his name.
Mm-hmm.
Is Red get a kill?
He's dead. He's
Yeah.
super dead. He gets the kill off of the.
Yeah, Rammus just comes at you Mach 10 speed.
I like it. That was a good. That was a good attempt.
You know, that Rammus change that they did where he allowed him to like jump on top of you and like basically do all the disrupt. I always forget that they did that. And so
I
I'm
know,
still
right?
shocked by the jump.
Now that I looked at that, I was like, wait a minute. I forgot they changed
Why
that.
is he jumping around?
Mhm.
Doesn't he charge it too? Like, if he charges it, like, doesn't he get more damage?
It scales with his movement speed, so the faster he's going, the further he goes.
So it's
I
exactly like
swear-
Hecarim.
I swear Rammus has played less when they changed him. I don't know why. I just started seeing him less. It's
Uh,
weird.
What was
they-
Rammus' old ultimate?
It was the tremors around him, like
Mhm.
it just did damage around him.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't a very fun ultimate to use.
They took off a little bit of power in exchange for giving him the gap close. So I don't think it was. I think it was relatively power neutral in the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, I completely agree. I honestly think that it's mobility. I think is one of those things that League has, like, is part of League's power creep, and unfortunately, it's gotten really strong. So like mobility is kind of like the name of the game.
Yeah.
That right there,
Yeah,
that
those
walking against.
Morgana cues, bro.
So if you're up against Orphic, you really shouldn't be walking in the Morgana Q range.
Dude, I'm so scarred from that one game.
Yeah, I think when we were playing against like BBZ at one time, like Orphic, like we just kept eating those Morgana.
Yeah, I walked into like 5 of them actually.
Dude, I was so annoyed when he like every single one he hit those, but like I gotta give respect to him because like hitting those narrow cues can be a little tricky sometimes.
But
Yeah.
you seen that jump you just did? That BBZ went from like 10 to 6 kills to 27 to 12. So they really just took over the game from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was very little for SKL to do. I do want to say that I think SKL has gotten stronger overall. Like they've been slowly bringing themselves up and getting really
Especially
strong.
from the game they played against us, so I think they played it well.
Yeah,
We obviously did not play it the best, but I'm
we
not
got
gonna, like,
really complacent.
I'm not gonna take away anything from them. They played it very well,
Yeah, they did. I can tell like they were like playing.
especially from their bot lane and their mid lane too. Their Morgana played it well as well. I think their entire team just played pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay,
There we
just hopping into this. We got Universal Basic Income versus Church of Alfonso. So kind of what were you guys thinking, Utility, going into this match up against COF? Because I know it's like, I think this was your first game against them finally, right?
Yeah, it was our first game against them. It was our last game of the first round robin, so the last team we hadn't played yet. We were just going in trying to pick strong champions. They're very good at team fighting, so our goal is to sort of get a slight early lead and then match them in the team fighting phase, which I think we were able to do pretty well. So we wanted the Jarvan because the Jarvan is strong early and also team fights and sort of the 5v5s really well. They had the Poppy as an answer, which is quite good into Jarvan. You prevent him from EQing in, and then they went with Corki, which was somewhat unexpected, but Civilux played as it quite a bit, so he felt like his Annie was going to be a good answer. And then we go with Senna. Senna's a Jeff special. He loves playing that champion, and it also enables Brian to farm in some lanes, and Brian is already good without gold, so the more gold you give him, the better he gets.
Yeah, Brian is definitely terrifying. Just straight up, like out of all of the supports that are in this league, I feel like if I would go up against any of them, Brian would probably be the one I'm most afraid of.
Yeah.
That and why Doctor is Rush.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so then I think the rest of the draft is pretty straightforward. They pick a support. We pick a farming set so we can give him gold. We blind Cho'Gath, just a tank in top lane. Nara is a decent answer, but Cho'Gath should be able to survive the lane reasonably well. So yeah, our win condition is to get just more gold. In this case, more gold is going to mostly come from the fact that our Senna is fasting, so we get extra gold income just for free, and then Jarvan has a little bit more freedom than Poppy to make some plays around the solo lanes, I think. And then just show up to dragons on time and team fight better.
Yeah. So one question I do want to have is like, so you got the Gnar over there on our lot. So what would I know they're on the other side of the league over in Helios, but what would be your answer to Joshi's Gnar? Because he's said that there are counters to it. What would you guys pull out against it in order to kind of shut that down?
My first instinct would probably be Wukong. I think that Wukong getting the free armor and being able to trade with Gnar in range for him early would be really strong. You could also go for outscaling it with like an Ornn or a Malphite, perhaps, as sort of champions that Gnar can't bully enough to justify having it over a really good tank in the late game. So those would probably be the two directions to consider going, either a really aggressive armor stacking bruiser. Aurelia would also work, I think, in addition to Wukong, or a scaling tank that goes slightly behind but outscales dramatically. Like Ornn, I think, would be the best, but Malphite would work.
Okay. I was just kind of curious, and also looking for any ammo for the Helios players watching this. So.
Unfortunately, I think that he has so much experience with Gnar that he would probably be able to take those matchups, even though they're bad matchups in a vacuum. Unless you have a lot of experience with the character you're picking into it, I don't think it's worth. It's not good enough that you should just like first time the character to have a good matchup.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think Joshi has said that he's really good at laning and maintaining himself in lane, even if he's in a losing matchup.
Yeah, I think he looks like he's good from ahead because he's often just the better top laner in a lot of his matchups, but his big skills as top laner is that he will take any matchup and he will go even, which is really valuable, especially in top lane, when you can just get good team fighters and never be behind.
Right, now let's see here.
Top lane being like one of the more like nastier like champions as well, like Camille with the true damage, Gnar with the massive stun time.
That's also freelancers, I think, goal in top lane as well, is to be a good team fighter. Yeah, so Poppy plays that really well, flashing behind and knocking him out of the tower.
That was clean.
Yeah, like that's just really knowing the directions that you want to go, keeping them from being able to get to you, and you're not able to get there in time.
Yeah, and knowing that you have the damage if you do it. So, quite good. And this is Jeff and Brian being the best 2v2 bot lane.
So I don't know. So like with Jeff being out, it's like I really got to wonder. It's like, what are you guys gonna do in this bot lane? Like, are you just gonna send like a mid laner down there and be like, okay, so you're just gonna lane with this other person, so you won't level up as quickly? But
Yeah.
So our plan for this next week of games, since we don't have time to add anyone to our roster, is we're going to have Civillock go AD, I think, and we're going to have Arena Thunder, who already subbed for us once, in mid lane.
Mm-hmm.
After this week, I think the plan is to have Mr. Chunks, who's a sub AD carry for Rex, and a sub for them a couple of times. I think he's going to be our indefinite sub until we can get Jeff back.
Okay. Well, that'll be definitely really, really fun. It's like I love Mr. Chunks just because of his name. So that'll be first blood for Mr. Chunks. Like just nice. Like that just it flows.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
So I think Jeff is actually not like he's good in lane. He's just a good player. But I don't think that he's actually like particularly strong laning player. I think Brian is just so good in lane specifically that it makes Jeff look that good. So I think you can actually put in a lot of AD carries in that position, and they will also look very good. So the synergy will be hard to build up in a short amount of time, so it probably won't look as good. But I think it's mostly Brian, 80-20 Brian in those bot lanes.
Which is the job of a support. A support is supposed to be the unsung hero. You're not supposed to look good. You're supposed to make your ADC look good.
Right.
All right. So you guys played this game pretty well. It seemed like Church of Alfonso started to pull ahead, but you guys started turning it around. I don't know if it was
well, I don't think they never had a gold lead. So they got some kills to stay in it, but their farm is down, and the fact that we have Senna's gold income in addition to the farming set in bot lane sort of puts a timer on what they're able to do. So even though we are down kills, we're actually, I think we always felt like we were even or slightly ahead. Yeah,
no, it's like I have to say that for getting killed as many times as he was, Freelancer's farm in the top lane versus that Gnar was pretty darn good.
I think Aliot's sort of an emergency sub. I don't think he's a top lane main, so it's also some of it.
Some of it's an advantage there, yeah. I think in all honesty, looking at the scoreboard right now, you're the only one who's technically behind their laner, and that's just because Poppy's picked up kills.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And even then, I don't think it ends up being a huge issue. So, but it's the dragon fights that end up being sort of the most interesting part of the game, I think.
That's what I'm looking for.
Which dragon? The first dragon?
All of the dragon fights are
all the dragon fights.
Like,
yeah, these fights are actually set up really, really well. So I think if you really want like some good like examples of how to like play these dragon fights, you got to watch the YUBI games and you got to watch the Rex games.
Yeah. So here we were really happy because we were able to threaten Corky enough that he didn't feel like he could reset in time for a package. So we're taking this fight when he doesn't have package.
This is a really smart play.
I'm trying to throw E here to bait Poppy to use her W so I can actually engage. It doesn't work here. But eventually I just walk up and ult, and Brian gets it. They're all just locked in there with Brian.
Yeah, they all kind of just lined up there.
That was a good combo.
So the fact that they're all locked in there with Brian, we get the anti-damage down, and it's just too late for them to do anything. So this was sort of the turning point where we went from sort of an even game to an advantage, a distinct advantage. But the next dragon fight I think is even more interesting. Here's maybe over chasing the back end here, but it happens. Yeah, we get the dragon.
I think he gets the chomp here.
He gets the kill. Yeah, he gets the kill.
He does.
Yeah, he's gonna go a little crazy on this. There it goes. He gets the chomp.
He
wanted it. He wanted to kill.
He didn't want it.
Yeah, and see the thing is, the funny thing is he kills himself. It's not the fact that he died to an enemy. That's just Freelancer.
Awkward, but
oh my god,
he just wants the stack. He just wants the Cho'Gath ult stack.
It's like, okay guys, I got the stack. It's all good. I got what I wanted. I'm just gonna waste their time now.
I think this dive goes poorly as well, so
I feel like so I will say that watching this game, I feel like you guys got a little big for your britches and were taking some more extended plays than you needed to. You did have the gold lead to kind of buffer it, but
but it was the next dragon fight that I think that I was most happy with for our play. Because this one they do end up getting packaged before the fight, and Corky package is just it's an auto win dragon fight button if you are playing it right. So we basically our goal is to, they don't want to start the dragon because they don't want to tank the damage. So we're just dancing here. They have better poke, but soon as it ends, I engage, and I get stopped by Poppy, but it was literally the second quirky package engages. And then we get a really nice Gnar, but it doesn't matter because they have no quirky package anymore, and we just have too many
Yeah,
stats.
that was a good Gnarl, but sadly it couldn't really do much.
Right.
Yeah,
So
all the damage is
and all that is just on the timing of when we engage, because we engage the second quirky package expires, and so they're playing as if they have quirky package to disengage, and they no longer did for that 1 second.
Actually,
Which is always that kind of like it's funny because sometimes the Corky's thinking it's like, oh, I've still got package. Wait, where did my package go?
Right.
Yeah.
And so we timed it to a minute from when you pick it up, and so as soon as we heard it, we started timing it, and we went the second it was down.
Yeah, I feel like quirky packages. Go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say I feel like quirky package falls in the same category as Rek'Sai, where it's a exceptionally useful thing that some people just don't comprehend just how useful it can be.
Yeah, it's sort of unique because you want to use it semi-aggressively, and an AD carry's job is normally to be sort of safe backline damage. So there's sort of the timing of when to use it so that you can use it aggressively without killing yourself is I think key.
It's the tricky part. Yeah. So yeah, you guys played that fight really, really well. And again,
and the next dragon, a similar story where they were again trying to wait out package.
Now
We have a gold lead at this point, so we are pretty happy with any kind of fight that's even. But quirky package can make even fights into very unfair fights very quickly. So we want to not let that happen.
That's true. So one of the things that Joushi has talked that Rex does is they always tend to try and control the geography of the fight. So can you kind of walk through like what your thought process is during this? I'll go ahead and slow the fight down a little bit.
Yeah, so the easiest thing is just to not let them through the chokes to river. We can't go too aggressively because if we all stand in the choke so they can't walk through it, we'll get quirky packaged. But we can control this one and force them through the bottom choke. And at this point, most of what we're doing is we're just trying to buy time to make quirky package stall out, just like we did the last fight.
it's all about the quirky package here.
Yeah, because at this point they're down 4,000 gold. So any remotely even fight, I mean, you saw last fight when they had the amazing Gnarl, it didn't matter. So any remotely even fight will win. So it's all about, can they get a quirky pack? And then here we force it out because he steps up a little bit too far, and the Cho'Gath forces it out.
Yeah,
and
you
so
guys
here
just went after this.
And yeah, so here we just wait for the package to disappear and then instantly engage.
And then I think the Ezreal. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was saying how like freelancer, like he just like walked up in the quirky package.
Yeah, he knows how tanky he is at this point in the game with just the base stats from Cho'Gath, and so we're able to get a nice one here. Yep.
He is. I mean, just look at how much damage he's taking from the Corky. He does go down, but
he does go down.
That's because Corky is a little bit.
It doesn't matter. There's so many people.
Yeah, now he's gonna get hunted down.
Now there's 4 Divine Sunderers on the side of COF. I feel like that's a little too many Divine Sunderers.
So okay, I don't think it's so. It's the core build on Poppy and it's the core build on Gnar. So those two are just normal. Corky, I don't think it's the best, but it's. The decision on Corky is to go Divine Sunderer or
Shiba?
Just crit. Yeah, shield bow into Essence Reaver. And the decision is not really on which one's better, because if you can finish crit is better, but it's like when you need to be strong. And I think that he correctly read that game he needed to be strong mid game because we sort of started taking the game over and those fights were really important. So I actually think he picked the better build to be strong in those mid game fights that mattered. It unfortunately didn't work out. I think Ezreal's the only one that I don't really think. I think Triforce Ezreal is the way to go at the moment, but I don't think it's a huge difference either way, honestly. So I actually think that it looks funny because they're all building that item, but I don't think it's particularly bad.
Yeah.
What do you think they could have done better?
I think you have to play package more proactively. I think that they weren't probably used to playing with Corky as much, so they didn't realize how much power is in Corky package, because they can win fights with that a lot more easily. And the other thing is I think that they just in general that we had too much control of the river because they did have an even game going into the second dragon fight, and we have first river control and we let them have back in to sort of stall for time to wake out package. But if they're there faster and they don't let us through the chokes, then it looks a lot different for them. Some of those fights.
I was trying to figure out what there's a flash moment where Brian jumps in and gets the face breaker.
Yeah, he flash E's,
He flash E's. I was trying to figure out because it looked like he got stunned there for a second because of the Braum knockup interacting with the Poppy zone, but
Yeah.
no, it was the face breaker, making everything look
Yep.
flashy.
But then and after that fight, the gold lead is just too much, and so I think we take Baron and just slowly end the game.
Yeah, at that point, it's a slow burn until you guys finish it off. Okay, so let's see. Hopping into this next one, it was COF versus HBK. Let's see here if it'll play.
I don't think I watched this one.
I think this one was played off stream because if you can tell, like this is just a raw broadcast. So
yeah, I did not watch this one.
yeah, so this is just one of those VODs. I'm trying to remember if I was reffing this one or not. This one was a HBK win, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, HBK did end up winning this one. Again, it was a kill-hungry game, but very clearly.
That is a lot of kills.
Yeah, that's and a lot of gold too.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of
even
kills, a lot of
even
gold.
more.
I feel like these teams just kind of like to fight it out, and so they're just taking advantage of it.
That sounds so fun to play here.
That's definitely the main reason why. Like, I think this was the game where I was talking about how we saw Zed come out. I don't know if we've seen him on broadcast.
Yeah.
They also role swap some players. They've moved Floral to a sub role, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make as many of their games in the second half, which I think is why they're trying out Jita in bot lane, and I think they've moved Tokyo Tree to be a new starter in, I think, top lane.
I think you're right.
So I think they're doing a little bit of role swapping around, and that's why they have this Heimerdinger bot lane, but it ends up working out for them.
Yeah, the Heimerdinger Galio bot lane is definitely an interesting one. I think honestly, it's kind of one of the like Heimerdinger in the bot lane is just one of those champions where, as a Leona main, I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? Why do you hate me? Like, what did I do to you before this game even started? Because there's like
an entire like military base, and then you go in, and then you just get blasted by those things, dude. Those turrets are actually scary.
Yeah, I don't have the draft in front of me for this one. I don't know if we have a record of it, what their pick order was, but I think the Aphelios was actually a really good pick into something like a Heimerdinger because you do have some of the range and just on those different guns, and you are going to scale pretty
I actually
hard.
don't think that's true. Aphelios's base MR is really terrible, so traditionally
that's
AP
true.
champions beat Aphelios.
Really?
Isn't his MR like 5 or something?
No, his MR is terrible. So that's why you used to historically see like Syndra zigs into Aphelios, and so the Heimerdinger I think is actually more.
Yeah, that Galio was really good. Maybe I don't know all three of them.
Also, is there any items for Aphelios to go if he's trying to build more MR?
No, not really. Just shield bow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's say like
You
no,
could
not a
go
mythic.
And you could do wits, but you wouldn't want to. You
I don't
want
think
to go
Wits is very
collector.
good on Aphelios, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Wits
want to
and
go
Maw both
collector
wouldn't-
armor pen.
Yeah.
Doesn't it keep him from getting into his damage spikes, like his damage items?
Yeah.
Going Wits in, yeah.
Yeah, see, and just with the nature of this team comp, I think that it just makes it so much easier for HBK to control these dragons. I have a feeling that like all these dragons are going to be uncontested.
Well, and I think also COF is playing with a couple subs, so I think that makes their team fights a little bit less coordinated than otherwise. So you get this really bloody game, but in the end, H-Block's team fighting is just superior.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I've noticed like whenever you have a lot of subs in there, it's like it's the coordination. It's so hard to coordinate with subs.
Yeah,
just because there's a rhythm off balance that you have to deal
definitely.
with. Okay, so we got skill base versus Serenity Senate. So just kind of, what were you guys thinking going into this one?
I'm not gonna say much about this game because I watched it, but I wasn't here. But I'm gonna say, for my opinion, what I think about this game, it's not very like, I don't think this game is very coordinated against SKL, and also not very organized. But they did play it very well. I think SKL did play it well.
On top of that, we got pretty complacent too, which is like one of the things that like you never want to do, because like if you're too complacent, you know, that really leaves like a lot of room for errors, and then like you're like, no, it's fine, and then they just like
the Caitlyn gets an early lead in bot lane, and then SKL actually plays it really well, rotating the Caitlyn around to pick up as many turrets as
they also
possible.
play really good too.
Yeah.
So they really need the Caitlyn to get ahead and to snowball that way, and the Caitlyn does. So I think that's basically the critical part, is the early laning phase that gets this Caitlyn ahead.
Yeah.
The only thing though I can say about this is when I was listening, I was at the gym when watching it, so I wasn't paying attention much. But I did heard that they were fighting without Caitlyn a lot, or I think maybe something they can fix is trying to fight together. fight with who's strong and stuff. Also, do you get away here?
No, I
No.
don't. I get sniped.
Yeah.
This is one of the like turning points of the game. I'm pretty sure because I like forced this fight way too hard. Like I flashed in, I didn't even know where the mid lane was. You know, like I don't know. And on top of that, I like did that, and I skipped 2 of my chems, which because of that, because I skipped them, I delayed my level 6 parsec for the Rift Herald fight, which comes up soon. So yeah.
Yeah, you
I think
almost
there's a
get
lot
out
to
of here.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, low key, I think if you're an ADC player, you should be looking at Caitlyn in the sense of like possibly picking them up because it looks like that she's going to be the next visual rework or some kind of rework is coming out soon.
Yeah.
Which means that you know how Riot likes to do. They like to overtune whenever something first happens. So.
Of course.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's find that Rift Herald fight.
It's over here, just trying to get on the Chundo. On the.
Yeah. So
I try to go for an engage.
Tyler, what about the draft? What were you guys doing in the draft?
The
Like,
draft.
when you guys, who set it together?
Baxter. Yeah. Basically, we just decided to choose our most like comfortable picks, which mine are like I don't know, just tanks and stuff. Because you know you can't really go wrong with a tank jungle, right? Like it's like you just do camps and you just try and gank. It's really safe.
I would
Over
say
here,
that the
kind of like stalled out a lot.
just kind of deteriorates a little bit, and that's a nice Ezreal ult from the bot lane though by P-Sweezy. Personally, it's like I would say that I agree with you with the whole tank jungler being a good idea. Going in though with like only 1 extra melee as a Sejuani.
Yeah, that was yeah.
It can make things a little bit tough if you're not able to get your lanes ahead.
I think during the draft, I was thinking of going on volley bear this game, but like since we had too much AD, we needed some AP, so I was just kind of forced to play Siege.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when this game ended. I was telling Color that it was just the Nasus and not much else.
Yeah, Nasus and me. Yeah. There was really no one else that could have procced the passive for me, so I could just do that.
Yeah, and it looks
So
like
Zishan gets really strong, takes the bot tower, then rotates around and takes all the outers and just gets a massive gold lead.
Yeah.
We were basically like at this point of the game, we were basically forced to play passive and just farm up.
Right. And SER actually managed to take some fights that they, down a lot of gold that they shouldn't win, and they do win them. But in the end, the gold lead from just taking all these towers ends up being too much, and SKL pulls it out.
This is the one where Zishan had that under tower kill on the Ezreal, wasn't it? I think it was back here. I think it's
Oh, is it here?
Yeah, I think this is it right here. Because I was talking about this the other day where Zishan just eats a couple of these bolts and just takes so much damage.
Yeah.
And it's like they're basically like fighting on they're knife fighting at this point because they're both getting good cuts on each other.
Yep. Does Freezy go down here?
He does. Yeah, he's gonna go down here in just a second because we're gonna get like the dash back heal
and the flash too. Not the flash, but the heal.
That was a good try from Freezy though. I saw why he tried to go in for that because she was very low, but I think she kind of saw that coming.
Trying to think like when the heal was last used because I think this is something that is actually really important. It's like tracking like with these summoner spells. I don't know if heal had actually been used yet during these fights. Yeah, so that's their first use of heal throughout this entire thing. Was during that. So that's something that's really important to keep track of.
See.
But either way, I think this was actually a showing of SKL for the first time, like really starting to rotate. Because I remember being in the green room we were watching. It's like, they're rotating? Oh my god, they're rotating? They know what to do?
They're rotating.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't really been ahead before, so we'd have never knew if they could play from ahead or not.
This is true. They've always kind of had to play from behind, or they've gotten a little bit of like early leads, but it's always been like gold even. Like they've gotten kill leads, but not gold leads.
Yeah.
Which it's
another thing. Color has not played with LTY mid lane.
Yeah.
At all. So the synergy was not very good. I'm not blaming on that, obviously. It was a team effort, but
happens.
that's just another thing to watch out for.
Yeah,
They did not play out together very much before this.
I don't think we really played much with this kind of team. Like with Jax, I don't see why mid. Like I don't know. It was kind of uncomfortable.
Also, Puizy bot lane is
Squeezy balling too.
We had a lot of changes in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the synergies here were like really lacking and struggling. But
Either way, I think you guys put up one hell of a fight. And then SKL just kind of was playing a different game than they usually do. I mean, just look at Kevin right there, like how long he survived.
Yeah.
Like that's that's like even for a Nautilus, that's like 13 tower shots insane. I don't know if anyone remembers Nautilus being that strong.
tried to Gale Force slash into me.
Yeah.
He almost gets it.
They try and force an end, don't quite get it, end up losing a fight later at Dragon, so the game drags on, but eventually they do win.
Yeah.
All right, and then we had Team Asorth versus Fraud Squad. This was a really long game.
Was it? How long was it?
I think it was like 35, 40 minutes.
No.
Oh no, let's see here.
Yeah, it was really
like
long.
1 hour game, so.
It was really long, and it was sort of
It wasn't the longest one we've had. It wasn't the longest one we've had,
but it was sort of this carry Jinx against the world, and the Jinx just wasn't able to play team fights well enough, and so all the kills being on the Jinx didn't end up mattering.
It's like, what's the longest game in like FoF like history?
PTP versus Girl was really long in week 1.
I think the longest one though would have been back during one of our best of fives during one of the finals. I think we had a 55-minute game.
Oh
my gosh.
How many Barons were there? Like,
I don't recall. I'd have to go back and like look deep in it. Like it was one of those ones that was insanely long. I think there was. I know that we've had a 3 Baron game. At one point. Yeah. Either that or I'm mixing it up with a pro play game. So what was y'all's plan going into this one right here?
Our plan was basically to go even everywhere and win bot lane.
Even everywhere and win bot lane, and
yep.
How do you feel you executed that plan?
Terribly. We won team fights in the end, so it didn't end up mattering too much. But I die early in top lane and give Silas a double kill, and then I die bot lane and we give Varus double kill, even though he died at level 1 or 2. So sort of we got the early advantage bot lane, and then I throw both of them away.
Yeah, this is the Jaffe play.
And then we get chain picked a little bit the whole mid game by the TF Xin Zhao Leona combo.
Yeah.
Eventually we just outscale them in team fights because our 5v5 comp is just better. So we played team fights really well. I was really happy with how we played it, like 18 minutes onward, say, because we end the game by 26 despite being slightly behind at 17-18. But the first 2/3 of the game was rough.
All right. So I do want to ask you about this Amumu support pick, because I've noticed that it does really, 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 really well with Vayne. And do you think that's just because of the chain CC allowing her to get those procs off? Because that's what I mentioned it was, but I'm just like, I just noticed that early on, it seems like Amumu Vayne can get you those early kills pretty quickly.
I don't think it's a super strong combo. I think Jeff and Brian are just really good.
I think it's just the CC, I'm pretty sure. Right?
I mean, they can do things, but I think Jeff and Brian are just really good, and it's more that than it is the character. So
that was so unlucky, by the way.
Yeah,
he ignited slightly late, so he didn't get the ignite on the tonic heal.
I saw that. There was a bit of a pause in between, which sadly cost him the kill.
Yep. So then I come up and try and dive, and we end up both dying, which is pretty bad.
Just the fact that he survives that is insane.
I know.
Yeah, if he like pressed it sooner, he would have died.
He went away too. I thought he was done for, but then he was okay from the corruption pots.
Yeah.
But no, Freelancer bails me out. Get the solo kill later despite me dying.
Was there a particular fight that you recall being like really pivotal for this one?
I think it was second or third dragon, because we like fighting for dragons at important moments. So it's usually a dragon fight. Not this. So this one was hilarious. We fight for this dragon like 3 times. Like we fight, I'll die, come back, fight, I'll die, come back, fight, and I'll die.
Basically a fiesta.
So this I don't think it's important for the game because it ends up being our like think they had come out slightly ahead overall, but like it's like a plus 1 or 2 kills in like this extended 3 5v5s in a row fight.
Right.
But the one after this, I think there's a fight at like 17 minutes, 18 minutes. That ends up being very important.
This is phase 2, it looks like, of that, where Jaffe just shows up.
This is phase 2. And then I come back in for phase 3, I'm pretty sure.
I do want to say y'all closed it out very quickly.
Yeah, so I mean, we're very proud of how well we do from ahead. So once we got a lead, we were able to really use it to win the game. But so we lose this fight, and then I don't think we ever lose a fight ever again.
This was kind of like the last. This is like, okay, that was their one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they get a nice. They just have more people here. So they win the fight. I mean, it's a math diff.
It was a good block though, with that Cataclysm catching multiple members like that.
The Cataclysm was fine, but they just have the TP from Silas.
I think this is a good play from BBZ.
Yeah, no, it's a really well engaged fight from Leona, and then a good TP from Jaffe to take advantage of a 5v4. But then the next fight we take at the next dragon, I think we win convincingly, and we snowball that into Baron control, Baron in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is an example of why you should never FF at 15. Because
I mean, we were actually up farm as well the whole time, so like we never felt like we were out of the game, just because we actually were never behind gold that much, even if we were down kills. But this fight was sort of where we blew the game open.
Yeah.
So they engage on Brian, but he gets Shen ulted, and he gets everything off.
Yeah.
And then I get a nice knock up and interrupt the backline while my backline kills their front line because Vayne just shreds. So. And then from here, the game is just really hard to play because our team fight is just better compositionally. So as soon as we start winning fights, it's over for them.
Yeah, you've got such
it
great
was a really
damage.
close game.
I was gonna say you've got great damage output with the Vayne.
I don't want to watch this. I don't.
You don't want to watch this? Why don't you want to watch this?
I think you win.
You win. It's fine. You get the kill.
But you still kill him.
It's just the ugliest.
I got so scared when I watched that.
The ugliest thing. Oh
At
my
least you didn't
god.
get
Yeah,
him.
I was
remember
like,
watching that.
it was the miss of the dragon strike that I was just like, ooh, no.
Yeah.
It's close too. It wasn't like I
Hey,
totally
at
mistimed
least you
it,
didn't
but-
die by the blue grump or the wolves or like whatever.
Yeah.
But no, from here, I think we win one more big fight on Baron, take Baron, and we just walk in their base. And I think we kill them just twice in their base over the extended 2-minute fight and end the game. So
Yeah, I was so
overall,
scared
we were
watching
happy with the
that.
game from here. Like from here on, we played pretty cleanly. But yeah, the first bit was rough.
Yeah, like like you said, I don't think that they ever have a chance at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the SKL? So I'm excited about the SKL Church of Alfonso game. I think that's going to be pretty interesting, just because again, Church of Alfonso's, I feel like they're a little bit of a coin flip team right now because just the nature of like not having seen them play. They've got some really strong players, but overall, there's that. But so I do want to ask you, what are you guys planning to do for that Serenity Senate versus BBZ game?
Well, now that we're more organized, I feel like we might actually have a chance, maybe. Like beating them round 2, in my opinion.
I obviously wish we have more time to practice with Jax, but you know, it's literally in 2 days, so because we got to.
Hey, you gotta take what you got. And then you guys are gonna be going up against Taz on Tuesdays. So that team, that one I think is gonna be, or not you versus Taz. You're gonna be going up against HBK. That one's gonna be another tough one, I think.
I really want to play. I want to play because I know H Block is like one of the best mid laners right now. I think he is. I think he's a really good mid laner, especially his assassin stuff. So I'm excited to see, because I think I can learn a lot from it playing against H Block. Even if I lose, I think there's a lot to learn from because he's a really good mid laner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited
Honestly,
for that one.
you're not that bad either, man. I mean, like that one, like in the one game, you kind of popped off. Like it's literally just your confidence, Like literally, all I'm saying is literally just your confidence.
I don't know. I think H Block is a really good mid laner, especially Red too. Red's going, or Red. Will Red be playing?
I believe they are. I don't know if we've gotten roster lock-ins yet, but it might be Red in the mid lane over there.
Okay, but yeah.
More than likely.
On number 2, because he kind of mid-diffed me last time. He was good. He's a good player.
You don't have to give me any specifics away, but have you been kind of like practicing some secret champs so that you're kind of like wanting to pull out for the for this?
There are champions that I don't think no one knows about that I want to bring out, but I think I'll just chill for now and play champions that we need, like Oriana or maybe even TF, because I'm a really big TF player. I play a lot. I think I have like 200k mastery points. I played him for a while. He was one of my first mages I've picked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do want to play my TF, but I think I had to practice a bit more on him.
And Frozen, will you be joining in on these games as well, or is it just going to be Tiki?
I'll probably try and join. Yeah, I mean, the casual, like he's been pretty like good. Like he's actually really cracked. Honestly, yeah, like casual, he's pretty good. Like he's the jungler that like made the plays to win like YUBI and stuff. But yeah, I kind of got some competition on my own in Serenity against me and casual, but I think we're chilling though.
All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and close it out. I want to say thank you guys so much for dropping by. And again, thank you, Tilly Monster, for dropping by as well. I know you had to jet off a little bit there. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Logitech Gaming and Adobe Creative Cloud. We greatly appreciate your support. It's always nice having that out there and getting those replays powered by the Adobe Creative Cloud is pretty awesome. I'll be putting the links down to all of our socials down below. Remember to tune into the FoF's Esports Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/FoF Esports. And feel free to join us on the Discord. We've got a lot of stuff going on over there, and we will be having our Luna games playing on Monday, September 20th, starting at 4:30 Pacific time, so tune it in.